So 2.5 in this case is a fairly short one. We're looking mostly at linear pair vertical angles. So when I look at this, I'm kind of lazy, and the thing that I'm drawn to as much as possible are vertical angles because I don't even have to do any calculation. So I notice that, I'm going to ignore A for just a minute, I notice that B, if I look at this, I have two lines that intersect, this line and this line, and B and 50 are formed by those two lines, and they are not adjacent. So they're what's called a vertical pair, which means that B is 50 degrees, because vertical angles are congruent. So down here where it asks me to give my explanation on one of these, how did I find the value of B? The angle with measure B forms a vertical pair with the 50-degree angle. Vertical angles are congruent. So that's how I knew. Again, being lazy, I'm doing all my vertical pairs first. The D and the 48-degree angle form a vertical pair, so D is 48 degrees. Now what I don't know is A and C. I know they're congruent to each other because they're a vertical pair. So what I have to do actually is to say, well, the measure of a straight angle is 180 degrees. So I'm going to take and show your work, take 180, subtract the 50, and then subtract the 48, which is 180 degrees minus 98 degrees. So by the time I'm done, I end up with 82 degrees. And it says, don't forget to use correct notation. When you're doing an angle measure, you have degrees on it. And then since A and C are a vertical pair, C is also an 82-degree angle. And then you're done. Thank you. Actually, sorry, you're not. You have another problem. Another linear pair sort of thing. This is actually very similar to when we just found that missing angle measure. We know that this is a 180-degree angle. So 2x plus the 3x plus 20 has to equal 180. I'm not going to put my degree measurements on now. 2x plus 3x is 5x plus 20. Well, when I subtract 20 from both sides, 5x equals 160. Divide both sides by 5, and x equals 32. I don't have to put degrees on this, because when I put 32 in for x, 2 times 32 is 64, and then the degree measurement is already there. Find the measure of the other angle. Well, what this really should have said is find the measure of both angles. So, and I messed up on that and probably didn't put the right thing on the answer key online. So both angles, 2x degrees means 2 times 32 degrees, which is 64 degrees. Now what I would recommend you do is actually calculate the other one, 3 times 32 plus 20. Well, 3 times 32 is 96. Bring down my plus 20. And 96 plus 20 is 116 degrees. Some people will say, well, why did you have to calculate that, Ms. Hills? As long as you know they're a linear pair, you could just take 180 minus 64, and you're going to get 116. By calculating each of these independently, though, now when I add them together, I get 180. It's a way to double check that I didn't make a mistake when I was calculating my x. So yes, it was a little bit more work here, but then when I add these together and get 180, I know that I did this correctly. So now, this is the end of Learning Target 2.5. Thank you.